Welcome to God Chosen Cosmic. Okay, so we're going to dive right in and talk about this content that I came across. It's on the channel called Bible Story, and it's titled The Real Story Behind Lucifer and Eve's Forbidden Unknown. Union. Union. We're pause the video so you can see it if you want to go check it out. Go check it out. So my energy is like a little bit well, it was a little bit off. I'm feeling more stable now to talk about the inspiration I just came across, but because there's a lot going on in the world, a lot of bad and good. There are still good things, even though maybe in certain people's circumstances it might be perceived as all bad, but there is still good, and it's important for all of us to remember to try to our best to project good, think, feel, and do good no matter what circumstance to the best of our ability. It's in our best interest. Because if we're going through a bad circumstance and we succumb to the human realm, to this realm, we succumb to the illusions, okay, and even if it's real, suffering, it's real suffering, but if you allow yourself to fall into it too much, then you will cause yourself and other people more suffering. As we know, the way energy works, we can only attract and manifest the energy that we are. So if we have a bad circumstance and we are being put in a position to not probably make the greatest decisions because of the circumstance, that a lot of the world is being manipulated into these crises, man-made crises, and then man-made sabotaging other humans. And so these unfair circumstances, it sucks. Ideally, we wish it just was not a reality, obviously, but because sometimes this is the case in people's lives in different parts of the world, they have it a little bit harder than other people, and so based on the reality that they're experiencing, they don't see anything outside of that. They can't feel anything outside of that because that's their real life circumstance. So that really sucks for people who are in really the worst of the worst circumstances. But I feel it's even all that much more important to express from my soul and my heart the soul awakening, the reawakening to the power that we all have from within, no matter how bad the human realm circumstance may be, has gotten, or will get, or may be, however it is, however unfair it is, however unjust it is, however imbalanced it is. God put in my heart that we can uplift anything in this realm from our heart and our soul connection with source. And so I realized that even if you're not religious, I feel like it's really important now more than ever for people to be connecting to God, even if you're not going to church. But church really helps, although I haven't gone most recently, but I know that those holy frequencies make a difference in people's temples, in your energy system. And hearing things from the Bible during the times we're living in today, or going in to read certain parts of the Bible that you feel called to look into, but not the manipulated Bible or the manipulated religion. And so that's where this video comes in. So I kind of talked a bit here, with the intro, but that's not what this video is about. This video is called The Real Story Behind Luciferian and Eve's Forbidden Union. It kind of talks a little bit about this, what I was just saying. It goes into it. And I kind of want to tie into also that as we know, things are manipulated in religion, and the stories in AI, they intertwine truth and deception. And that's what had me being called to make this video, to call out the elaborate deception, because it's so elaborate and it's been done for so long before even technology, even just through education and or even religion, biblical texts or school books or teachings, any form of teaching that was an underlying manipulative tactic to have the majority in control, so they have done that over time through false education, through manipulated education, deceptive education. And so when I was hearing this video, that came to mind. And then but what also came to mind is like that, so your spiritual discernment is important now more than ever in this day and age, because videos like this that I'm about to play.
Church wanted these.
Okay, I'm going to start like in the middle of the video. So again, if you want to watch this video fully, then go watch it fully. I'm not really a fan, like my take on so far what I've watched. I haven't watched the whole thing, but my take on it is it's like goes in and out of truth and deception, which I really don't like. And for people who don't have spiritual discernment, it's like it seems so legit that it seems like it's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It seems like it, but it's not. It's really literally not. It's literally going in and out of truth and deception through most of what I've heard so far. And so like I'm going to play it, and then I will pause and say
Eden was so pervasive that it reached into the realm of divinity itself.
From my soul.
Some ancient texts suggest exactly that the offspring of Lucifer didn't stop at Cain and his mortal progeny. It extended to entities we would call gods. Consider the Nag Hammadi codices, a cache of early Christian Gnostic writings hidden in jars and buried in the Egyptian desert around 1,600 years ago. These books were stamped out as heresy and left to rot in the sands until their chance discovery in 1945 unearthed their explosive contents. Among them is a text called the Apocryphon of John, or Secret Book of John, a secret revelation that turns the Genesis story on its head. In this text, the role of the Creator God, the one the Hebrew Bible calls Yahweh Elohim, is radically redefined. The Gnostics reveal him as Yaldabaoth, the chief archon, a blind, arrogant imposter deity who claims to be God but is not the ultimate God. And they tell a tale about Eden that is stranger and more shocking than anything we've covered so far. According to the Apocryphon of John, prepare yourself, the serpent's violation of Eve resulted in the birth of 2 sons, but these were no ordinary babies. The text gives them names. One son is Elohim, and the other is Yahweh.
What? Excuse me? They literally just said something along the lines, in their own words, that Satan had 2 sons, Elohim and Yahweh. What? This is insanity. This is why this is Antichrist AI things twisted up. If a younger generation doesn't know the actual truths, like, you know, with spiritual discernment, they will literally accidentally believe this to be like the full truth, and they will feel like, you know, even to rebel against the truth, because these lies are like, they make it seem like it's so legit on these AI videos or whatever on the internet, you know. This blows my mind what we're actually facing today. Like, this really is a psychological war, a spiritual psychological war. Like, spiritual discernment is like needed and so necessary and vital through the times we're living in today, like big time, like big ginormous big time. Like, I feel like God was like a microphone, hugest microphone you ever heard, in my ear or in my heart, in my chest, in my soul, like screaming spiritual discernment. Like, take steps back. You need to take steps back, and don't just like, okay, when you hear these videos, content on whatever social media platforms, you really need to like not just believe everything you hear or see just because it looks or sounds legit. You have to be really careful these days, big time. Like, I wish more people were talking about this, like, and then also like being able to tell the difference, like making content where, you know, because AI will make it fake, like Antichrist based on Antichrist algorithm. That's what I'm sensing big time. Like, it's mathematical incision or like insertion of like the dark agenda that they want to push forward through AI and technology, internet, ethers, right? You know, it's you know, like, it's all numbers. It's the matrix, the digital part of technology that controls majority of everything these days. And like, so this is a big deal. Like, when God was telling me that we need to make sure that we infuse the coding of God frequency, spiritual discernment frequency, truth from falsities or deception, manipulation. Just, oh my God, I just feel like it's so spiritually criminal how this has happened, where people were taught all of these wrong things and they will go against what's right because they were taught so wrong. And so many people have to be open-minded these days and wake up to the realization that they were taught wrong and put their ego aside and realize, you know, like occult teachings, Kabbalah teachings, Luciferian teachings, voodoo teachings, whatever, witchcraft teachings, all of these things, like false teachings, religious teachings, like manipulative religious teachings, those things that are not in alignment with the God frequency. They have to realize it's like, it's a frequency thing. And so like those teachings are out of the frequency of God frequency. Even if it's sometimes religious text that has been manipulated over time. And the way we have discernment, spiritual discernment, is to recognize, is it in alignment with Christ consciousness or God frequency? If it's anything outside of Christ consciousness and God frequency, is man-made teaching or manipulated, deceptive, wrong, leading, misleading, misinformation, education. This is what it is. That's what God has put in my heart, like big time. And like this video was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is actually happening in the world. They're doing this antichrist weird stuff on, you know, the internet, on all social media platforms, not just on this video. Like, and they do it in many different ways. We know this is not a conspiracy theory. You can see it for yourself. And that's why I feel like it's important that people start talking more about spiritual discernment, and like, so that we don't have the younger generation falling for this nonsense that it's looking like the actual stuff, but it's not the actual teachings. They're false teachings. They're saying Satan had two sons, Elohim and Yahweh. That is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's gone way too far. They've gone too far. Like, this is crazy. No wonder why people actually choose Satan over God in the world, because they actually were so manipulated, like MK Ultra, like mind fucked, manipulated. Sorry, excuse my language. Like, mind effed. Holy Jesus, Mother of God. For real. Oh my God, forgive my language. But like, really, this is what we're really facing. Like, we're facing generations and years of false indoctrination to go against the one almighty Alpha and Omega. All these people on this planet have been manipulated and puppeted into going against the Most High, the one and only Most High, because all of those people have to be willing and like really, really realize, like really willing to put their ego to the side and realize that it's not what you were ever taught, okay? Like, it's really not. What they were taught was really wrong. And obviously this goes across the board in a lot of different religions and in a lot of different teachings, not just in this video talking about Luciferians or whatever, what they're saying, what Lucifer taught, that Elohim and Yahweh were his sons. What? Again, this is the most, I can't even emphasize that enough. Like, that's how absurd. That is absurd. That is literally the most absurd thing I ever even the thought has never even crossed my mind. I'd say I never would have felt for that. But if I didn't know any better and somebody actually made it look elaborate, maybe, you know, you say you wouldn't fall for it, but maybe you probably would have, you know? You don't know. I mean, look at the world. The whole world has fallen for it. Like, oh my God, this is what we're actually facing. We have to realize that there's a lot of people who have to like actually wake up spiritually. This is why, oh my God, this is the reawakening, to remember to come back to the truth of who they are and where they come from, where we come from. We're from Elohim. Satan is not the ruler. Satan is ruining this planet. Like, metaphorically, there's so many metaphors, okay? The negative energy, the dark energy, the dense energy, the manipulative energy, the deceptive energy, it's all frequency, we know. And anyone operating out of that frequency is literally essentially up against the Most High. And like, the humans who are blind to what's happening, you know, and they're being the ones in humanity who are experiencing the suffering because of the ones at top, they are in a place in life where they don't realize their power, right? And then the ones on top know how to control this realm, misuse their power, and they're going against the Most High to try to maintain the power in this realm over the majority who doesn't realize their power, because they're too much down in the vibration of suffering, which the people at the top purposely created with false teachings, misleading teachings, or no teachings at all in a lot of places. So the lack of just knowledge, and then the ones who do have the knowledge, they use it in a manipulative way over the ones who don't have the knowledge and want to just keep them in a state of suffering and continuously think they're going to keep, like, what? This is absurd. This is literally that, you know, I know this sounds crazy, maybe a little, maybe even insensitive for a second. I laughed and I said, is this a joke? Is this a cosmic joke? Is somebody playing a joke on me? This can't be right. There's something really wrong. Doesn't everybody see? I mean, even the ones on top, even the ones who have fallen for the misleading teachings, misguided teachings, to go up against the Most High, where we're from, where we're one with, we can't be without. We can, even if they try to have this disconnection, it's still not, God is still, there's nothing that Luciferian energies can ever do to get rid of source or overpower source. And so, like, the more people that have been mistaught. Oh my God, excuse me. Wait 1 second. Oh my God. I'm on to something. The more people who have been mistaught wake up to the fact that they have been misled for a very long time, and a lot of people in their family generations, in fact, have been misled throughout the time. So it's actually going to take a lot of the what people will call the 144 in each family unit, in each cursed generation. Because we all have these curses one way or another in in each family unit, for a lot of different reasons, because people were mistaught throughout the generations, misled throughout the generations, and then the ones who just didn't have the knowledge, they just went down the wrong path because simply not knowing their power to fix those mistakes of like life lessons and things. So there's a lot of reasons why every family unit from every financial bracket would have gotten a curse over their family line over the times. So God is literally calling us to do a better job at confronting ourselves and our family units, not by confrontation in this realm, just by improving ourselves even through our mistakes, and then also making sure that we do our best to break the curses off of ourselves and our family members on a daily basis. If we can, it's best to do it daily, but like this needs to be literally a continuous thing. The more families that are in a cursed bloodline do this is how like the ones who have power in this realm, the cursed ones who have power in this realm, can redeem themselves back to the Most High with the Most High. It's because the Most High wants to utilize everyone in power to realize what's happened is they've been misguided and misled for too far long, and it's come a time in humanity that they need to confront themselves and confront the family unit by breaking the curse. You don't confront them by like an argument or whatever in the human realm. We confront it in the spiritual realm, and we say, Satan, you can't have a hold over this bloodline anymore. You can't have a hold over our decision making anymore. Confront Satan, literally. Every family unit that does that together, and don't just leave, your family member to do it, like the black sheep people would say, or like the oddball, or the different one. Don't just leave it to that one, but everyone starts stepping up to the fact that we all have to break our own curses, because curses are limitations. Basically, even if you don't come from a family who did witchcraft or whatever, there was, there's karmic things from previous lifetimes. Those karmic things are like curses. They're limitations that were passed down from each lifetime, from each generation of the older ones to the younger ones. So that's the thing, is like the more of us that do that inner work and breaking out of the limitations and choosing to have the courage of the Most High and stand up for what's right in the times we're living in today, like the people at the top who have these positions that have power to enforce God frequency decisions in bigger things, in world events, we will see like a major difference. Like it takes a collective of people, especially people who are in powerhouse positions, to wake up spiritually and realize that Satan is not in charge. They were misled, and the one who is in charge is the Most High. And the more people get into that frequency, that light of truth, even through our imperfections of like the life journey, the soul journey in the life journey, and the life lessons, through all the imperfections, like it's important that we constantly improve everything through the God frequency, through making those inner shifts. Like 1 second, I need my asthma spray. The inner shifts of like change the way you think, change the way you speak, change your decisions, and make decisions that are based in the God frequency, that are better for you and for anyone else. Sorry, I need to do my asthma spray because they're difficult to breathe. So back to the video. After I drink some water. Okay, I drank water and took off my lipstick. Sorry guys, it was a little bit uneven. Oh man, it's weird. Like because the water, it's like, I don't know, but anyways, back to what I was saying. Like Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Like, oh my God. Yeah, you guys get the point by now. I think I kind of said the same thing in a couple of different ways. I'm going to start the video and then we'll keep talking.
Yes, you read that correctly. Elohim and Yahweh, the very names used in the Bible for God, are, in this Gnostic account, the names of Eve's twin sons by the devil. It says that after Eve was created, the evil Archon Yaldabaoth tricked and raped her, and she conceived. Eve became pregnant with 2 sons. Elohim was the name of the first. Yahweh was the name of the second.
Hey, my name is Jerry Norton, and in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you how to make $5,000 to $20,000.
Second. Adam and Eve knew them as Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel, the first 2 children in Genesis, secretly bearing the names of the biblical God. This is the Gnostic bombshell. The God of the Old Testament, the creator figure whom billions have worshipped, is, in their story, the byproduct of a demonic assault on our foremother. The God people have been revering as the Lord is, in fact, one of the Archon spawn of the rape of Eve. In other words, Yahweh is literally the child of Lucifer in this heretical narrative. Try to wrap your mind around the implications. It's almost unthinkable. This claim doesn't just suggest a rival bloodline influencing humanity, it suggests that what humanity has been calling God, at least the harsh, jealous God of the material world, is actually part of the serpent's lineage. The ultimate subversion, Satan planting not only a physical bloodline on Earth, but an object of worship to lead mankind astray. If the Gnostics are to be believed, the entire mainstream religious paradigm is upside down. The being who walked in the garden saying, "I am the Lord God," was not the true ultimate God at all, but Yaldabaoth, a demented offspring of the real God's wisdom, Sophia, who raped Eve to cement his illegitimate claim as creator. In essence, the snake not only entered Eve, he inserted himself into the role of God in the human story. No wonder the Orthodox Church wanted these texts destroyed. What could be more explosive, more corrosive to the Judeo-Christian foundation, than a scripture that says the God of Genesis is the serpent's son? Yet here it is, written in black ink on brittle papyrus by some brave soul almost 2 millennia ago, possibly preserving oral traditions even older. The secret book of John pulls no punches describing Yaldabaoth as nature. It calls him an Archon, born of the hubris of Sophia, a being with the face of a lion and eyes of fire who declared, "I am God and there is no other," not realizing a greater God existed above him. This Yaldabaoth is the one who fashioned Adam and Eve, but out of envy and malice he kept them ignorant, until a higher spirit, in some versions, represented by the snake, came to free Eve's mind. Think about that. In Gnostic telling, the serpent was actually the emissary of enlightenment, while the one claiming to be God was the deceiver. It's a 180-degree flip of the script. Lucifer, whose name means a light bearer, is seen not purely as evil tempter, but as a trickster who also inadvertently or purposefully set humanity on the path to knowledge by defying the false god. But before we paint Lucifer as a hero, the Gnostics make it clear, the Archons, the powers under Yaldabaoth, are not friends of mankind. They resent our divine spark. Yaldabaoth raping Eve was an act of domination, an attempt to further enslave humanity by binding us with his own spawn. By fathering Cain and Abel, Elohim and Yahweh in disguise, the fake god Yaldabaoth ensured that even the worship of future humans could be hijacked. Humans would end up worshipping the offspring of that violation, mistaking them for the highest god. If this horrific union had never happened, perhaps humanity's story with the true God might have been very different. Instead, we got trapped in a cycle of worshipping the very bloodline that was created to enslave us. As the Apocryphon chillingly notes, after the birth of those Archon sons, Yaldabaoth and his minions forced Adam and Eve to drink the water of forgetfulness, causing them, and their descendants, us, to forget our divine origins. We've been spiritually amnesiac ever since, prone to bowing before false gods and corrupt rulers. Think of the blasphemous brilliance of this plan. Lucifer not only taints the human gene pool, he possibly installs himself as God over that tainted line, demanding their worship and fealty. No longer just an external adversary, he becomes the insider, the wolf in the fold masquerading as the shepherd. Is it any wonder that the Old Testament is rife with God behaving in ways that seem cruel, capricious, even evil at times? The Gnostics would say, that's not the true benevolent God, that's Yaldabaoth showing his fangs, the inherited cruelty of his father, the serpent, seeping through. In Gnostic lore, the true God, the remote, ultimate father of all, is all good, all light, and would never behave like the Yahweh of the plagues and genocides. They believe the true God sent Christ as a messenger of the higher truth, to wake people up from the Archon spell. And what was Christ's message in Gnosticism? Essentially, that the God of this world is a liar and we carry a divine spark that belongs to a higher reality. Christ, in this view, was trying to break the grip of Yaldabaoth's deception. If you're reeling, that's understandable. This is grand gignol heresy to a traditional believer. But
it's all making sense now. I feel like I've always had this feeling like I'm supposed to do what Jesus did. And I know, like, people would laugh when I say that, like, but I actually mean it. Like, but what I really mean by that is, like, we also all know that we're all meant to do that. Like, it's not just me, but I've had that feeling, that soul feeling since I was little. And, like, at certain pinnacle cycles in my life so far, I would have these feelings like I need to go a certain place, or I had to go on a certain travel, like the way that Jesus had felt called to go and to do. And I didn't know until I knew, you know, like, and so I feel like it's important for everybody now in the world to tune into their Christ consciousness archetype and embody that as much as possible, and trust and have faith in the Most High and have the courage of the Most High. That the story of Jesus, he has that courage even going through hard things, and he has the strength of the Most High, and he lives in that oneness throughout the story and tries to tell everybody, you know, like, Truly, that's what we're all supposed to be doing. The more of us do that and embody that and tell everybody else, tell your mom, tell your brother, tell your cousin, tell your sister, like tell everybody, your aunt, your uncle, tell them all. So you gotta tell everybody. You gotta tell everybody. Everybody needs to know, like the truth. Like this is really what's happening in the world. And like the more people know this, you won't fall as much into the politics and these changes of like the more evil that they're trying to do. They're trying to amp up the evil to incite fear and to cause, people to be in a lower vibration, more susceptible to manifesting more of that. And because this lack of awareness of like the truth of what's actually behind everything that's happening, and how we're the ones who have the ability to transform the darkness in this realm with our connection to source. Literally, no matter what it is, anything can be, the most unfair things, because basically what's happening in the planet is the most unjustly thing that has ever happened in history ever. I think, for real, if we really, really realize on a spiritual level, this place that we inhabit in this realm has been, it's kind of like a Columbus moment. Columbus went over and said he discovered something that people were already there. It was theirs already. And he tried to claim something that wasn't his. And a whole bunch of people just fell for it and enforced something that was wrong. So basically, we need a lot of people in the top waking up to the realization that they need to stop enforcing things that are wrong. The more we as a humanity wake up to the importance of that, of catching ourselves, stopping ourselves from doing wrong, stopping ourselves from thinking wrong thoughts, having wrong feelings. I mean, it is a part of the evolution of our journey, but the more of us that can be mindful of that, like the better off we will be as a humanity. And like it really does make a difference, because remember, everything is energy and we're always connected to the quantum field at all times, right? We know that at all times. You're never not connected to source. You're never not connected to the quantum field. Even if you are suppressed and you feel disconnected, you just need to wake back up to the realization that you can never be taken away from what you are. Your only reason why you're able to be alive, any one of us is able to be alive, is because source is coursing through everything, right? So that's the thing, is like, even if people in their minds and their psychologically have been misled or never taught, or mentally just feel disconnected from source, just come back to the soul light of truth, that you are one with all that is, and you need to tune into that in your mind, body, and soul throughout whatever we may encounter throughout our journeys. And it's all an inside job, as we know, and the more of us do that inside job, it really does make a difference, because we're meant to help anyone else that we come across energetically, that because one person can't come across everyone in the world, but that's why God made it so many of us. Source has it like this for a reason. Like, there's so many of us to realize in our differences we have different powers. When we connect to source, and with all of our different powers connecting to source, we can overcome the darkness of this realm through our differences. Those different powers that come from our connection to source are meant to be activated now more than ever, and so that we're able to overcome any kind of circumstance, because it's an inside job. So we do the energy work, we do all the layers to it. And I will talk more about that in another video, the layers and stuff, but I'm just going to stay focused on
Remember,
this
these
one.
ideas were not concocted by modern edgy YouTubers. They come from ancient sects who passionately believed the church had it all upside down. They preserved these teaching in secret, under threat of death. Why would they risk so much unless they were convinced that humanity's entire understanding of God and creation had been co-opted by dark forces? We see echoes of this concept even in occult symbols that have come down through the ages. The Church of Satan, for instance, uses the infamous sigil of Baphomet as its emblem, the inverted pentagram with a goat's head. Inscribed on that symbol in its original form from an 1897 French occult grimoire are the words Samhael and Lilith at the points of the star. Samhael and Lilith, the male and female demon who, in Kabbalistic lore, are consorts. Samhael, the serpent or devil, riding Lilith, the rebel wife, is a pairing said to produce demonic offspring, and their union is sometimes identified as the beast of the abyss. In the Zohar, it's written that the serpent is Lilith and Samhael rides on her back, a symbol of the male and female demonic principles in tandem. The fact that the satanic insignia explicitly references this pair tells us that modern occultists are fully aware of these ancient traditions. The Church of Satan...
Okay, so the witch that came after me, it was like the warlock and the witch that I talked a little bit in my previous videos, actually a lot, because this part of like the pinnacle cycle in my like life journey, it's just something that it's important that I emphasize to people about these kind of things, so that in hopes to prevent people to be preyed on by these kind of people. So like warlocks and witches, they practice the occult and the cabal, and they came after me in a dumb group, whatever. They do tarot online and whatever, it's a cult or whatever. I don't care what they want to call themselves, but those kind of people that do those kind of things. And so they were misled. I knew this from like way back when, but they never took me serious, and I never talked to them directly, but because they're hackers and, you know, they were in my business, and spiritually, and like my own ways of like trying to, in hopes to get them to realize like they've been really misled. They didn't believe anything. In fact, they mocked me, and they believed those kind of teachings were real. They really believe that. But this video is talking about how it's not real. Because why? It's misguided teachings on purpose to go against the Most High. So it's literally everything they were taught is a lie. Their whole life is a lie. And the more people wake up to that realization, the better off they will be, because I've been trying to tell those dumb people that came after me, the witches and warlocks, like, hey, we're all brothers and sisters. They consider people like me dumb for being optimistic and thinking the best of people, even after everything they did towards me, and they even tried to kill me more than once. And like, I'm still with the stance that we're all one and we're brothers and sisters, and because my soul knows the truth, not because I learned it from a video, but it's nice that they're putting the truth out there, even though maybe sometimes it is intertwined with certain deceptions, but the truth stands strong. The truth is a frequency. You can tell the difference. And I bet you any money, I bet that anyone who was taught that before, something in their soul, somewhere along the way when they were being taught those kind of things, picked up, this doesn't feel right. But they probably ignored it, the spiritual discernment, because they were being taught that it was right, you know? So they believed the human realm, and then their soul was preyed on, basically. That's what happened, and it's not their fault. It's literally majority of occult people who practice occult and those teachings is not their fault, because they were most likely preyed on to believe that that is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But really, they were just preyed on for so long throughout generations and families, generations, that that spiritual slavery, that spiritual oppression and suppression and spiritual psychosis and spiritual abuse, it is so ingrained in some of these cursed bloodlines that specifically practiced the occult and cabal, because many people have this in common. Even people who never did witchcraft have family curses to break out of, but more so the people who have willingly done it. And even if they didn't know that they were preyed on, you know, because again, most of them, they were taught like that was the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so they didn't feel like that was wrong, because they were taught that that was the truth. But they've been living a lie, and they've been perpetuating spiritual abuse onto themselves and many other people. And so we need to stop the cycle of abuse, of the satanic kind of energies. We're not up against the people, we're against the principalities. This is the most important thing that we need to remember, no matter what unfolds in the world during the times we're living in today, because these dark principalities are puppeting the ones on top, and they're trying to keep this dark hidden agenda in control by perpetuating that dark energy, that cursed energy. And so the thing is that the Most High is more powerful than that cursed energy. And so the more people wake up to rise up to the fact that every single one of us does make a difference by conquering the inner war, our inner war that we all have this in common, we experience in our day-to-day lives. And it's a natural thing. In fact, we need more people talking about this and going through the inner therapeutic process to put yourself through to mature your way of thinking, mature your way of feeling throughout your life, so that you're in a different frequency of being, because you maturely know how to process your thoughts better and your emotions better energetically. And so this is really important for all of us to embody our power in alchemizing everything from the inside. Energetic alchemy.
Literally emblazoned the concept of the Samel plus Eve Lilith union in their chief symbol. Levi later dropped the Hebrew names from the public version, but the message was clear to initiates. They know the power of that origin story. It's the cornerstone of their anti-cosmic philosophy that exalts the fallen angels' lineage against the creators. In other words, the Luciferians themselves acknowledge the Edenic sexual mythos, that through the serpent, Samel, uniting with the feminine, Eva Lilith, their lineage and legacy was born.
Hey, have you ever been told you have a nice voice? Well, what if I told you you could turn your
Hey.
voice into a
Hey, what is that?
Evaluation of mainstream.
Oh, it's for bugs. I remember looking into that. Like, excuse me. You may just hear me doing voiceovers one day. Who knows?
Religion.
I mean, actually, who knows? I know. Wait a minute. This is a great example of how if we say who knows, like we leave it up to just like atomists. Like I know one day I will be doing that. So like that's the thing. This is a perfect example that we need to claim these things, and don't just leave it up to outside things of who knows if the world's going to get better or worse. Who knows if they're going to keep getting away with all this murder throughout humanity. No, I know. I know that enough is enough. The Most High is here. I know that they're not going to keep getting away with this. The dark principalities working through the people higher up that have indoctrinated all this false teaching over a large portion of humanity, that has a large portion of humanity enslaved in this like global curse kind of thing. I know that it's going to be broken. I know that we are going to redeem humanity through humanity. We are going to overcome the Antichrist energies. I know we can't just say like and think and feel like, oh, I don't know. We have to claim and decree these things. We have to command this to be the truth and become the truth, decree it, proclaim it, declare it. We need to, because it's really important. The more of us are choosing to be in optimistic thinking, even if you see, you know, that the dark principalities are really trying to go like darker. And it's really sad, like, you know, because we don't want nobody else to be in suffering. But even throughout these, whatever bad can unfold ever, we need to remember that we do make a difference in our internal world in the way that we claim and choose to proclaim that it's going to get better. We are winning. We have to declare and claim that it gets better. The whole world will send the Antichrist to hell. And that's metaphorical. I channeled this. So like the Antichrist will experience their false prophecies, the ones that they're trying to manipulate over humanity. They're trying to manipulate humanity by causing it a reality. They're causing it a reality to keep humanity manipulated under this global curse. But the more people wake up out of the curse and the cursed dark, dense energy and wake up that we can rise up from inside throughout any dark, dense energy that they're purposely wanting to put out and cause, the Antichrist will experience their false prophecies, but the majority will outsmart the Antichrist from inside, from the inside out. We will all outsmart the Antichrist through our inner power voice, through our inner power alignment, our mind, body, and soul, connecting to the Most High and talking to the Most High and redeeming ourselves with the Most High. So we have our citizenship in heaven, but here on earth, our citizenship in heaven on earth, like our connection, redeeming that frequency in our alignment to source. And I know none of us are perfect and we will never be, but this is what I've channeled. This part right here, the whole world will send the Antichrist to hell. Okay, I know that sounds like, that might sound extreme, but like, that's what came to me. Like, so, but what I mean by that is because we overcome the inner battle. When we overcome the inner battle, we don't succumb to the human realm darkness, the dense energy in this realm. We choose to alchemize everything to the light of truth. The more of us do that, the better off we will be. So I'm not going to read the rest. I channeled some other stuff, but I'll leave that for another time. Let's keep going on the video.
Then billions of people over thousands of years may have been unwittingly worshipping a deception, praying to a god that feeds off their devotion but doesn't have their best interests at heart. Does it not sometimes feel that way? That the world's prevailing systems, even religious ones, often lead to bloodshed, division, and fear. As if some hidden hand continuously perverts even our highest ideals? Perhaps that hand isn't so hidden after all. Perhaps it's the same hand that reached out to Eve in the garden, offering knowledge while secretly planting its seed. It's also profoundly thought-provoking in terms of morality. If the God who gave the law was actually the offspring of the devil, then what does that say about the moral codes we've been given? It opens the door to the idea that true morality and spiritual enlightenment might lie outside the established dogmas, exactly what Gnostics and many mystics have hinted. Perhaps Gnosis, secret knowledge, was required to see past the false god's facade and reconnect with the true source above. This was, in fact, the Gnostic gospel: know the truth of your origins and liberate yourself from the counterfeit god's matrix. Before we reach our final crescendo, let's sum up the revelations we've uncovered so far, each more shocking than the last, even Lucifer.
Oh my god, so like, I've been on this wavelength. This video just came out 9 days ago, but I've been on this wavelength for years now, in like different stages and phases of like the reawakening process, you know, and I've come to understand this like since a while back. And so to see this video just come out, it's like, whoa, we really are ahead of our time. Like, we need to realize that. And like, so we need to remember that when we connect to the Most High, like we will always be ahead of. Well, wait a minute. Let me pause there. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, pause. It's not, give me a second. I need to first think deeper thought, but first I'm going to play this.
Had a carnal union, Cain was their son. Cain's cursed bloodline continued and entangled itself with the powers of the world. And ultimately, the being that set itself up as God over this world may itself be an offspring of that same Luciferian line, making humanity's worship into a cosmic false flag operation. The stage is set for a final, haunting...
Okay, cosmic flag operation. Okay, so my channel is called God Chosen Cosmic Melodies, because I am aware that this is actually cosmic. I know it's too far out for some people, and if it's like too far out for you, then go watch something else. But like, this is what's come to me in my whole life. I've been far out. Now I know why. And like, it might not make sense to some people, and I really don't care. Then I'm not for you. And if I'm for you, I'm for you. If I'm not, then I'm not. But I really feel like this is for everybody, actually. So because we're all being affected, like the whole planet, every planet in the solar system, this is a cosmic energetic frequency battle. We are pure energy at our core in the human realm, in the human experience, in a container, and this is our container. The flesh, this this body, this vessel is our container to hold our pure energy. And there's a battle of the pure energy of the planet, and every energy vessel that inhabits this planet, this realm, because sometimes people don't even think that we live on a planet anymore, because, you know, as we know, information is always evolving. And like, so multidimensional planes, because remember, I kind of talk about this in my beginner videos on this channel. It might be too far out for some people, I really understand that, but I'm just going to speak in my truth, and that's all I can do. Like, I mean, no, it is what it is. Like, if you look into the facts behind this breakdown that I'm going to say, then you will understand, like, it's not far out. This is reality that we're experiencing. This is the reality we're experiencing. So like, so for a second, I just want to say, like, I channeled this part. Wait, my hair looks a little bit funny because I have a wig on, guys. Like, okay, so, I come from the beginning of time before undivided light. Unify. It's time to unify. That's who God is. That's what we are. That's what God told me. That's what we all are. We are one with God. We are one with unification, our soul energy. And like this realm and what the video is talking about, Luciferian energies, dark, dense energies, cursed energies, frequency, dense, dark, frequency, manipulative, deceptive, invasive, inverted, dark energies. They're out of alignment of undivided light. And they came and attacked, actually, the undivided light in us. And through many different ways, we know that there are all of our senses, our taste, our smell, our hearing, those things, frequency, they inverted the frequency, they manipulated the frequency on purpose to cause the unification of our source connection to source. Wait, I said that wrong. our pure connection, our natural pure connection. And like, so that's illegal. That is literally spiritually illegal. They cause it from internal through each energy system. As you see on my channel, I put the visuals for people so you can understand your energy system, your energy field, your energy system. They hacked it from inside. They hacked it through the matrix. They hacked the planet's energy system, and they hacked all of our energy systems. And like, so we, as oneness with source in humanity, everyone in humanity needs to come back to the beginning of the undivided light inside of them. And they need to unify to the undivided light. Source energy, undivided light in yourself with source energy. That's what God is calling us to do. And, you know, so even be past religious texts, religion helps people's soul. It does help teach people, not manipulated religion, but really the holy frequency, the true truth, the true light of truth. And so, yeah, so we have to remember that we are angelic beings, and like, we are multifaceted, interdimensional, multidimensional, electromagnetic, metaphysical souls in a 3D holographic matrix simulation. And this is how they created VR. That satanic coding, antichrist coding, they copied real life. They have this information, higher information, that most of humanity is disconnected from. You know about it because they created it. They hacked that information from source and created it in this realm, in the material realm. And so, but because people are so disconnected from the undivided light, they only can see this realm. They don't understand that we are multifaceted, interdimensional. Multidimensional means, you know, if you think about our energy system, in each energy chakra and each energy center is like a different dimensional experience. We're interdimensional, multidimensional, electromagnetic, because we're pure energy at our core. Metaphysical, we're souls, pure energy of undivided light. That is our truest form. Our truest form is undivided light. And in this realm, in the third density holographic matrix simulation, this light from the pyramid, like, okay, how do I say this? Like, okay, look, right? Like this, this is, now it's divided. It's divided. We could see color in this realm. Divine feminine, we're coming back to the divine feminine and masculine unification. But like each being whole, the feminine in her wholeness, even through whatever we've experienced in our lifetime, we need to heal. Everyone needs to heal. Everyone needs to focus on healing now more than ever. This is important because the more people that heal their energy system, please, we need this like now more than ever. More people need to talk about like, okay, yes, there's so much content out there already about healing, but we really need to pump out more content about healing from all angles, psychological conversations about this, like from different angles of psychology, from different angles of your emotional body, from your energy body, there's a lot of ways you can talk about healing. There's so many different ways that healers all around the world need to really realize like that we are needed now more than ever in the world. It is a time that we all need to step up with all the injustice, like, because even if you're not there in person, like, I mean, step up energetically, internally, like step up, rise up out of whatever it may be that we could be facing in life. We need to choose this on a daily basis and choose to tune our energy field and calibrate our energy field to embody the resonance and the frequency of abundance, and to tune into the unlimited riches of source. And so this is what I mean by like, this is energetic workings, because this is how we overcome the Antichrist energies. It's not about fighting in the physical realm. We're up against the principalities. It's a frequency thing. And so the more people in their energy fields rise up and expand into God frequency, allow your vessel to receive God frequency more. We need more of that. We need more people like doing the inner work to rise up out of lower vibrations and come back to the God frequency as much as possible, even throughout everything, like the sadness, the unjustly things, the maddening things. Like, this is the cure. I know, and it might even sound a little too simple, but it's actually, no, it's actually work. You have to do the inner work, all of us, like, and you don't have to be religious to realize that you deserve a higher frequency of life. So you need to do the inner work. And sometimes people go the route of religion that it's non-manipulated. Sometimes, there's a lot of routes people can take. Just don't go to the route of the cabal or the occult. Don't be misled. And if you choose to wake up out of your ego and realize the way and the only way will ever be is inside your personal connections to source, your temple that God has gifted you and gifted us the chance to be here, to experience this realm, to improve this realm with our power of undivided light, our connection to source.
In question, if all this is true, where does it leave us? Who or what have we been venerating, obeying, and believing in all this time? Final revelation, and the question that remains. Take a deep breath. We descended layer by layer through a hidden history of seduction, bloodlines, and divine subterfuge. If you followed this far, you are now face to face with a reality that is almost too staggering to contemplate. A reality in which Lucifer's lineage runs like a secret vein of poison through the human story, from the first child born on earth to the corridors of power today, even to the altars of our holiest sanctuaries. We stand at the edge of a spiritual abyss, looking down, trying to discern what's real. Ask yourself, what is reality, if this is true? The comfortable answers crumble. The entire edifice of conventional faith, the clear line between God and devil, shatters into a million pieces. If Lucifer did in fact father Cain, and if that bloodline endures, and if even the God of this world is entangled in that bloodline, then we have lived under a grand deception from the start. It means that much of human society, our hierarchies, our conflicts, our very understanding of good and evil, may have been engineered by the descendants of a fallen angel for their own agenda. It means that humanity might be, in a very real sense, enslaved, physically by the hidden hand of demonic bloodlines, and spiritually by worship of a false deity that is kin to our enslavers. Where do you even go from there? How do you find truth in a hall of mirrors polished by the devil's children? Perhaps this is why esoteric traditions throughout time have stressed the need to look within, to find the spark of the true God in your own soul, the one thing the archons couldn't extinguish. Perhaps it's why Jesus in the Gnostic Gospels emphasizes knowledge and awakening rather than blind faith. Because if faith is placed in the wrong God, the imposter, it's worse than ignorance, it's bondage. We started with a forbidden union in Eden. Let's end by considering the fallout of that event in the starkest terms. If that union happened, we, all of us, are its fallout. Every human being has been caught in the crossfire of the war between the two lineages. You might say, I'm not descended from Cain, so I'm fine. But are you sure? After thousands of years of intermixing, do you really know whose blood flows in your veins? Could some of us who think we're pure children of Adam actually carry a latent inheritance from the serpent? Conversely, could some born into Cainite families break free and seek redemption? The lines might be blurrier than we think. The war of the seeds might be fought not only between groups of people, but within each person, a struggle between the base, brutal impulses of the serpent and the compassionate.
See, that's why I said it's not just about breaking the curses in the family units, but that's the inside thing on the day-to-day, that polarity thing. So the video has gone on for a long while now, so it was a little bit wonky a little bit because I kind of paused and got tripped up what I was going to say, but I just flowed with it. I felt called to come on, so I have to listen to the guidance when I feel called to come on. There's so much more I still want to talk about, but the video is long already, so we'll leave more of similar topics like this and evolving the channel. If you want to come along this journey with me, do yourself a favor and subscribe if you haven't already. ring the bell for upcoming videos, and click like because it is free and it helps the algorithm so that this content can reach more people, because I know for a fact it is meant to reach many, many more people than are seeing the videos so far. So if you believe in the truths that I've been speaking on this channel and you tune in and realize those truths yourself, not just believe me, but with your own spiritual discernment, you realize that I'm a truth speaker, please support the channel by simply clicking like, because it does make a difference in the algorithm. We're up against the Antichrist algorithm. And so we want the light of truth to reach as many people as possible by working with this dang algorithm. And like helps reach many more people. So I thank you in advance. And God bless you all. Remember to pray for your goals, your pets, your possessions, your family, your friends, humanity at large. Don't waste your time praying for people who are trying to vampire your energy. Pray for, well, just pray for the world, to be honest. I pray for everybody. Just remember, like, even a small prayer, obviously you want to do more than a small prayer, but just make it a point to make sure that you're praying every single day in your inner world. You're making it a point to connect to God source energy in your inner world on a day-to-day basis, as many hours as possible in your day. Please do yourself a favor and cheer yourself up and fix any internal imbalance by connecting to source. And I will talk to you in my next video.